For square 1 summer cable, you need to cast on the stitches in the correct colour sequence as instructed on page 6 of the June mail out. There's another tech video that shows you how to cast on in multicolour that you can watch if you need any guidance with this. So I'm going to start with the next row wrong side after the cast on instructions on page 6. Now I've wound all of my yarns onto separate bobbins as I find it easier to work this square with the yarns organised in this way. This is just a sample. The bobbins aren't quite full up, but I would fill the bobbins right up so you have enough yarn to complete all 5 strips of cables without running out. So we start with knit 3. Remember, this is a wrong side row first of all. So it's knit 3, then it's purl 4, knit 2, and then it says leave fave denims at the front of the work which is away from you, which is here, and with some at the front of the work away from you, cross it over with favourite denims. So you need to put your needle into the next stitch, take your old bobbin that you don't need anymore over to the left so you can pick up your new bobbin of summer yarn so they cross. And then you knit 2, oops, putting tight at those points of crossover. Knit 2, purl 4, knit 2, and then it says leave some at the front of the work away from you and with favourite denims at the front of the work away from you, cross it over with summer. So get your next bobbin. The bobbins might seem like they're hindering you at the moment, but I can guarantee later on when you've worked away from the cast on edge, they will be a great help. Okay, so we're crossing over favourite denims with summer. Good pull on both yarns as you cross them over to keep that crossover as tight as possible, and it's knit 2, purl 4, knit 2, this is what you're repeating all the way across the work, crossing the yarns over, as you change colour, pulling tight on both yarns to keep the stitches as neat as possible between the colour changes. last bobbin here. I think it's this one here. And ending knit 3. Okay, so if we turn that around, reorganize our bobbins, unlike sort of normal intarsia, if you like, the bobbins here are going to be at the front of the work, because what we're doing is we're creating that kind of stitch effect, if you like, at the colour changes. In other words, the wrong side of what would normally be the wrong side of the intarsia becomes the right side of it. Okay, now if we move on to the next row, right side increase, which is also on page 6, I'm going to show you how to work the increase, which is a make one. So we begin the row with purl 3, and then the instruction is to knit 1 and make 1. Make 1 is when you pick up the horizontal bar between the 2 stitches, pop it on the left needle and knit it off through the back. Then you're instructed to knit 2, make 1 again, knit 1, purl 2. And then the instructions say, leaving favourite denims at the front of the work towards you with summer at the front, cross it over with favourite denims and purl 2, knit 1, make 1, knit 2, make 1, knit 1, purl 2. Okay, so leaving the yarn at the front, we cross over the old favourite denims that we're not using anymore with summer, and we purl 2, knit 1, make 1, knit 2, oops, back for a moment, make 1, knit 1, purl 2. Okay, so yarns that have crossed over still at the front of the work here, creating this stitch effect you can see just beginning to happen there. So I suppose the key to this cable is you must cross your yarns over on the front side of the work, not at the back, and that is the really important thing to remember when you're knitting this pattern. And you continue across this increase row until it's completed, at the end of which you will have 52 stitches. I nearly took that bobbin to the back then, it needs to be kept at the front. And this really sets what you're doing for the remaining rows. Obviously no more increases, but how I'm crossing the yarns over, continues throughout the whole of this square. Don't be tempted to take the yarns back between the needles, because you need to create this lovely sort of stitch effect on the right side of the work. Okay, so here we are at the end of that row with all the bobbins still at the front, and I will take a little bit of time just to kind of straighten them out. Also keep them quite short. If you keep them short rather than long, they will be far easier to handle. And as you do progress up the square, you will find that the crossing over of the yarns, keeping the bobbins neat, all gets easier.